Welcome inside the vault live from Indianapolis at the 2026 NFL Scouting Combine. It is the 26th of February. Great to be with you guys. Emory Hunt's going to be joining us in about 25 minutes time, Sarah. He's our NFL draft analyst, friend of the program, and he's got friends of the program too. It's a good, tight-knit vault community that we've built here, and Emory loves dropping by, and we love having him. So we're looking forward to that, Sarah. We're going to dig deeply into 14, what the Ravens might do. We'll take a look at specific position groups like wide receiver, like perhaps day 3 tight ends, edge rushers, a number of other things as well. So with that, welcome inside the channel. I'm Bobby Trossett, as always, joined alongside my co-host and partner, Sarah Ellison. If you could on the way in, please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership this offseason. Sarah, Jesse Minter continues to be hurled a number of questions as he does his media rounds as the next head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. He's here in Indy. He's sat down with Rich Eisen. He's put together and sat down for his own media podium session. I mean, that's how it goes for a first-year head coach. And as the more questions that come his way get more and more maybe complex, or in this case, Mike Florio's, which is maybe asked in the gotcha fashion, he finds a way to spin it in a positive way and kind of take something negative and turn it into maybe even constructive, maybe even positive. So we're going to begin there, and we're going to discuss Jesse as a whole. We'll talk about Tyler Linderbaum, the latest surrounding his piece of news as a pending free agent, and a whole lot more. And I just get the sense it's going to be a good day, Sarah, because Eric Hill is already here. He's gifting memberships. He's writing in with super chats. You and I are going to show him a little bit of love coming up later on in the program after an email that we received. And I just get the sense that's the mojo I'm feeling today. So let's speak that into existence.
I'm feeling good today too, Bobby. I mean, Emory is that guy when it comes to the draft. Sometimes draft nicks are a little bit, I don't know, just kind of monotone. Emory is anything but that. And he has all the information that you're going to need. And yeah, like you said, Eric Hill, we got to give him some love a little bit later on. But first, Bobby, this is so funny to me. OTA attendance is already silly when it comes time for OTAs, but I don't know that OTA attendance has been this much of a topic of discussion in February when we're months away from it. But everybody keeps asking Ravens brass about it when it comes to Lamar Jackson. Declan Doyle kind of set things up by saying that it's voluntary, but he expects, guys to be there because he feels like that's what you got to do to really go the extra mile to win championships. Eric DeCosta comes back. He tries to quiet the noise, kind of clean it up and says, hey, Lamar's a 2-time MVP. He knows how to get ready. That's up to him. It's voluntary. And then it's Jesse Minter's turn because he was on with Chris Sims and Mike Florio. And I know Mike Florio isn't the most popular guy among our listeners, given his history with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. But Bobby, when I tell you, when Jesse Minter answered this question, I just thought it was perfect. So perfect. Watch how he's not defensive, comes across just so wonderfully and has all the right words too. And of course, when you're asking an OTA question in February at the Combine, it's for sure a gotcha question. And Jesse Minter, chef's kiss for what he's about to do.
Last week, off-season workouts, and there's a line.
Yeah.
To walk.
Declan, you mean? Yeah, right?
Declan Doyle.
Yeah, that's right.
They're voluntary, but the expectation is the guys will volunteer to be there. And I took the whole thing as a message to your quarterback because he's given up $750,000 in workout bonus each of the last 2 years in not volunteering to show up. How do you as the head coach come up with a strategy to get your quarterback to volunteer to be there so he can learn the new offense and the team can get off on the right foot?
Yeah, first of all, I do have total respect for the rules that it is voluntary. Totally understand that. And Lamar has had unbelievable success doing it both ways. And so there's certainly a balance there. But I think it's our job to create an environment and a learning opportunity where they feel like it's really important to them to want to be there.
Like I'm missing something if I'm not. I better get there. I'm hearing what these guys do. I better get there.
They're like, man, this is high-level stuff, and this stuff's going to help us. This stuff's, I think, like the feeling of what we're doing now will pay off in September and October and November versus, okay, we're coming in and we're kind of doing the same routine. It just needs to be an environment that they really feel the importance of it. Well, also us understanding that, we're going to take advantage of who's there. We understand that things come up in the offseason. And so we'll make the best of the situation no matter what it is.
So I think that answer had it all, Bobby. First of all, it was just calm, cool, and collected, no defensiveness whatsoever. Then he gives the nod. We respect the rules. This is voluntary. Starts with that. In addition to the way his tone is, he starts with the fact that it's voluntary and emphasizes that. Then he goes on and he acknowledges, which nobody else has done, that Lamar Jackson has actually done it both ways. And so Mike Florio, of course, only talking about the last 2 years and the workout bonuses that he's forfeited by not coming to OTAs. And almost every time I hear people talk about it, they act like it's always that Lamar misses OTAs. And he says that he's had success both ways, acknowledging that he has indeed been to OTAs, especially when he was on his rookie contract and when there's a regime change on the offensive side. So I'm glad that Jesse gave a shout out to Lamar on that. And then finally, he takes accountability and says, this is on me. This is on our coaching staff to make this an environment where players feel like they can't miss it, that they're going to be behind the ball. And if you are putting on OTAs that is more geared for young players that developing, that's all fine. If you're doing OTAs that really your quarterback or some of your veterans aren't getting a lot from that because they could be working out on their own, then that's fine too. But Jesse says, hey, if I want guys there, if I want them to volunteer to come, I got to put out my carrot. Eric DeCosta can put out his carrot by putting the workout bonuses in contracts. But the coaches can put out their carrot by being like, you guys aren't going to want to miss this. I'm going to create an environment that you feel like you just cannot miss. I thought the whole thing was really well done by Jesse Minter.
Well, he also did a good job of maybe even catering to like the way Eric answered it and the way Declan answered it. Like he found a way to kind of weave in and address both of those. And what I mean by that is I think it's a perfect time to just quickly revisit those snippets, because one question to Eric was posed as it relates to Lamar specifically.
Those are voluntary. Lamar's a two-time MVP. I think he knows what it takes to get ready for the grind of the NFL season. He's proven he can do it at a very, very high level, and I have no preference.
Whereas Declan's was specifically related to the team, not mentioning Lamar Jackson by name. That's what the national media did, putting words into Declan's mouth.
Expect him to be here, and certainly it is voluntary. And so, but it's also, if you want to say that you're going to win a championship, you want to say that you have championship standards and those are your goals and your expectations, certainly that's going to take work, that's going to take collaboration, that's going to take the beginning of building the relationship with their coaches, other players, starting off this next regime on the right foot. And so that would be those guys getting in here, us being able to work with them hands-on and be able to kind of get this thing going in the direction that we want to, and making improvements so that we set ourselves up where when we come back in for training camp, we hit the ground running. We already have kind of shared knowledge, shared language, and we're able to go right to work.
So I share those to say that my interpretation of Jesse's genius, yeah, I agree with yours. But I think he did a great job of splicing those two answers together so as not to push back, so as not to create any controversy. That might be the biggest genius in all of it, because it doesn't become more of a story. What's the story right now is that Jesse is a connector. Jesse is intelligent. Jesse is working his way through all of these media obligations in a very professional manner, as you put it, a very calm manner. And I think that calming presence is leading to people here in Indy almost universally when I either I'm approached by someone who knows that I cover the Ravens, we cover the Ravens, or I introduce myself as someone who covers the Ravens. It's typically starting the conversation with, man, they nailed that hire. And Daniel Jeremiah spoke about it on the lounge, which dropped earlier today. Like he was raving about not just the hire itself, but the scheme-driven expertise, the connector, the relationship builder. And those are all things that Jesse's being touted for here in Indy. So I don't think it's coincidence that he's knocking things like this out of the park. He's not a loud, boisterous personality. He doesn't need to be, That's not going to win you games at the end of the day. What will be is what he did for the Chargers the last 2 years, and that is completely transform their defense. And that's obviously task number one for him in Baltimore.
Yeah, and Bobby, I'm glad you played all the other 2 clips, so we had all 3 of them there, because I don't think there was a wrong thing that any of the 3 said. I think Declan Doyle's was the easiest to twist into something that is negative, but when you play all 3 of them, like, I don't think that anybody said anything wrong. That's number 1. Number 2, yeah, to your point, the reason why Jesse, and we're all still getting to know him, right? Like, we're definitely still in the honeymoon phase, but they talk about him being a connector, and you can see that right there. Like, he just disarmed Mike Florio. Like, who's more combative than Mike Florio? But he didn't. I don't know if he was doing it because he's being polite to his guests, or I haven't heard anything since about how it was a bad answer. I feel like he would have, but he just disarmed Mike Florio, which is not always the easiest thing to do. And then he combined his vibes, which is like you said, he's not loud and boisterous. He's very inviting, very non-defensive, but he's full of substance. And that's what that answer was. It was completely full of substance. So I thought he did a good job. He's off to a great start.
You know what he also is too? He's unassuming. He and I actually might have him in the height department, which is unheard of at an NFL event where I'm typically just looking up. Like, he and I are around the same height. He's a slender guy. And you're right. He's inviting. He's unassuming. He's humble. Those are all things that it's just, as the honeymoon phase rolls on, he's checking a lot of boxes. Let's just say that. And I had a chance to meet Harlan Bauer last night. He is the new outside linebackers coach. Jesse plucked him from Duke. He had other opportunities. We had a great conversation about the staff that Jesse's building, about particularly the defensive line and outside linebacker room that Harlan will be working closely with. That's Lou Esposito as well, who's going to be the defensive line coach. And Harlan was extremely complimentary of not only the organization and how welcoming they've been so far, but the way in which Jesse has mindfully, intentionally gone about, to use his words, that's what he told Rich Eisen recently, an intentional process is what he's been on, an intentional approach to putting his staff together. And Harlan's fired up. He's a great dude. I'm excited to see what he does with the outside linebackers group.
And I'm excited to see who they add to that room for him to kind of help develop. And
I didn't go down the Nnamdi route. I want to be respectful. I it's hard, right? You want to make sure that you don't burn any bridges within the first impression of meeting somebody,
I guess. Yeah. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Look, it would have been easy for me to be
I probably would have snuck it in.
It would have been easy for me to be like, all right, listen, bro, is he coming back or what?
No, but after, you're sitting and chatting for a while and, how you feeling? This is obviously off the record. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff.
I did run into CoCap. He and I had a fun little laugh about a spat that we had earlier during my first media go around, my rookie media year, if you will, and talking about Anthony Levine, of course. And so he's here, he's proud, he's fired up, he's excited about, the opportunity to be the next special teams coordinator. And I did come right out and ask, you bringing Jake Hummel back? I thought he was a thumper for them on special teams. And he looked me up and down. He said, you think I'm going to tell you? So I tried to get down to the bottom of some things, Sarah, some free agency.
What's funny is you went for it with the guy that will put it back in your face. Like, Levine won't hold back. He'll put you in your place for sure.
You'll probably get to know Harlan at some point when he does, training camp media availability or whatever. Most humble, calm, cool dude, just like Jesse. If I were to go down the Nnamdi route, you'd probably be like, oh, we'll see, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's been fun tracking down a lot of Jesse's staff here, and I think there's just a general sense that what he's done so far is, it's drawing rave reviews around the league.
That's great. I'm glad you're getting to know him out there. If you want to pull him into the vault at some point, that might be good too. So
right. We did swap numbers with all those people that I just mentioned, but
nice.
We'll obviously be respectful to the process and hopefully track some down in the coming months.
Speaking of respecting the process, Ari Mirov, who is a fun follow on Twitter at My Sports Update, I don't think he likes the process that Eric DeCosta is kind of forging with Tyler Linderbaum, who's about 2 weeks away from being a unrestricted free agent. And as we know, Eric on Tuesday, was it? Or was it Monday? I'm like losing track of time now. Tuesday. That he let people know at the podium in front of all media, publicly saying that he offered Tyler Linderbaum and his agent a market-setting contract, which of course means that it's north of $18 million per year. He would be the highest paid center. Ari Mirov didn't like that Eric did that, and he thinks that it was awkward. Puts Tyler Linderbaum in an awkward and unfair position. Here's what he had to say.
Historically would never publicly negotiate, and DeCosta said as much in that press conference when he said we are not going to negotiate in public with Lamar Jackson, and that's an agreement between me and Lamar. For him to go out there and say that is so interesting on a number of cases. And number one, I think it puts Linderbaum in a very awkward and unfair position, because now Ravens fans, people in Baltimore are going to be like, wait, we offered him a market resetting contract and he's going to go and still become a free agent. He might leave us. Like that's not, why would he do that? The reality of this is, from our public perspective, the only thing that we know right now is that Creed Humphrey is the highest paid center at $18 million per year. So when the Ravens go out there and publicly say we've offered him a market resetting contract, what does that mean? Is that $18.01 million? Is it $18.5 million? Is it $19 million per year? Is it $20+ million per year? We don't know the answer to that, but that's what they said right now. And now the overall belief and the narrative that's going to build up over here in the next few weeks is the Ravens offered him something so great and he still wants to get something else from a different team. And we know once you become a free agent, the market is going to go crazy. And that means Linderbaum could go out there and get 20, 21, 22, 23 million dollars per year. We don't know where that's going to go. And I thought it was very interesting that the Ravens would go and take that position over here and try to negotiate publicly over here and go say that on the record. I mean, if they wanted to do that, the easier and the more common way to do it, and I've seen it many, many times over the years, is you leak it. You leak it to a reporter. You let somebody know, hey, the Ravens have made this offer to Tyler Linderbaum, and we'll see what happens here as he's going to become a free agent in the next couple of weeks.
All right, Bobby, your thoughts. Do you think that it was unfair of Eric DeCosta to make it publicly known that he set or offered a market-setting contract? And do you think by leaking it, that would have been more fair?
No, I think that's a narrative that Ari's just created. He's talking about narratives. He's creating his own right now. Come on, This is how business works. This is a negotiation tactic. This is pre-free agency stuff. This is how it goes. This is big money, high stakes. He's going to be the coveted guy if he hits the open market. Eric DeCosta and his front office, it's up to them to try and get this thing across the finish line. But if it's also a two-way street, and there were reports leading into Eric's approach to how he handled Tuesday, that things were at a standstill and that things had gone silent. Mom is the word on Tyler's camp's part. So what do you expect Eric to do? He wants Tyler to be a Baltimore Raven. He's a former first-round pick of theirs. He's a homegrown Raven. And I think if you ask Tyler himself, he'd probably want to continue his career as well. Some of this is the agency's role in trying to obviously run up the market, run up the price, run up the value as much as possible. So now if he's suggesting that there's, personal ramifications involved here, you're shaking your head and I'm with you on this one. That to me is childish.
We all know what goes on in negotiations. Players are trying to get the most money they can, and teams are trying to get the best players for the best price that they can. That's what you do. And so what exactly is unfair to Tyler? I mean, he's got all the leverage in the world. He's 2 weeks away if he wants to hit free agency. His agent knows what he can get out there. This isn't going to hurt him whatsoever in terms of the deals that he's going to be offered. And not all fans, there's still a segment of fans that will say like, oh, why didn't you I guess you didn't love Baltimore. Like, why didn't you stay? Like, who cares that you could have made a couple million more? There's a segment of those fans. But I think there's a larger segment that's like, hey, players, when it's your second contract, you go get what you can. You go get what you can. That's your prerogative. You're putting your body on the line. You're putting your life on the line. And this is your one major chance and he's healthy. Like, who knows what if a Justin Madubuike thing could happen to him? I'd hate to put that even out in the universe, but these are things that players have to ask. This isn't going to hurt Tyler Linderbaum in negotiations. It's not going to hurt Tyler Linderbaum with his reputation, because guess what? When he does eventually sign wherever he signs, we're going to find out anyway. If they did what Ari wanted, that would be leaked anyway. How is that more fair? I actually appreciate the transparency rather than like leaking stuff. Feels a little bit more slimy than just being like, hey, I own this and I'm being transparent. Oh, and by the way, this is untraditional, especially for Eric DaCosta. And Ari made a fair point that he's quiet about Lamar Jackson. Well, that's because Lamar Jackson reportedly is very engaged. What about Neil, who is Tyler Linderbaum's agent? According to Ian Rappaport, he's not very engaged.
Linderbaum's interesting because he cannot get tagged. It's a tackle tag, right? And so what's the tackle tag?
It's like 28 or
yeah. Something. I mean, not going to be that. Linderbaum is the top center. He's a really good player who the Ravens should want to keep and feel like they have to keep, but every year they've let a couple offensive linemen go and figure it out.
They haven't seemed that interested in keeping him. They didn't fifth your option.
They didn't fifth your option him, but they have tried to negotiate with him.
Sure.
His agent is very difficult to negotiate with. Neil Kornrich is the agent, and his method is basically just not responding.
We all have someone like that in our life. It's pretty good negotiating.
Baller
to be
move.
honest.
Yeah.
Okay, so according to Ian Rappaport, Neil's tactic is not to respond. So if you really want Tyler Linderbaum back, would we all be happy if EDC was like, well, he wouldn't respond, there was nothing I could do? No, we want Eric DaCosta to do everything he can to retain his Pro Bowl players. So if he's going to try to have to like go to the public to try to get Neil to respond, then that's a much better alternative than just like twiddling your thumbs to be like, well, there's nothing I can do. Yep. So Eric DaCosta is going to be aggressive. Negotiations are always awkward. Like there's no way around it. You're like talking about somebody's value. That's why people have agents oftentimes. And so, but unfair. I don't think this hurts Tyler Linderbaum at all. And if we're just going to like throw out narratives, since that's what Ari's doing, like it's unfair to Tyler. Like, could we throw out a narrative that maybe Neil came and talked to you? Like Ari, did his agent come to you and say, hey, will you go put this out and say that it's unfair? Like, I don't know that he did that. Probably not. I don't know. Agents talk to media all the time. But if we're just going to go out there throwing out things like it's unfair, this and that, like, how do we know that you just wanted the news and that you wanted it leaked to you? Like, we don't know. And it would be unfair to just throw that out without actually knowing.
See, this is like the theory that starts to get legs, because when you look at it, it does kind of feel as if there's a negotiation, good faith standoff being had between Tyler's camp and DaCosta.
Yeah. And
so this is the latest tactic within there, if indeed Neil did go to Ari and his team. Right?
Right.
Which would be a direct response to the market-setting comment from Tuesday.
Yeah, and I generally, Bobby, I get a little bit annoyed for sure, because negotiations are awkward and people are going to use negotiation tactics to get, what is best for them, both on the team side and the player side. And so when media constantly try to act like something is below the belt or there's like bad blood or this and that, like there was no contract negotiation that was more under the microscope than Lamar Jackson in 2023, I think it was. And when Lamar announced the contract from his car and was like, hey, there was a lot of he said, she said, and then they were fine. So like, it's just so funny to me that it's constantly made out to be like bad blood when this is just normal negotiations. What is up, Emery Hunt?
There's no bad blood here.
There's no bad blood. Like, we on and popping.
You already know
I'm
it.
so happy you're here.
Hey, listen, that's what the people called. They requested. They put up the bat signal, the czar signal. I can't call it.
You already know it.
I already know it. Shout out to Brian, who's probably watching.
Yeah. I was going to say, we figured that out a couple of years ago. How about that? One of Emery's boys, Brian, is a VAULTRON. So we appreciate his loyalty and support of the program. And we appreciate you coming back on an annual basis. Emery and I go way back. I was a sideline reporter of his for various freelance work. He was doing color analyst broadcasting, years ago now. And And now he's working for CBS Sports HQ. He's got the site that we'll talk about in just a bit. The draft guide is on its way to being completed. Footballgameplan.com. We'll talk about that. And you got 15 other gigs that I haven't even mentioned. So let's dive right in. Who the heck should the Ravens take at 14?
A great football player, because, again, at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with drafting great football players. That's kind of why the Ravens are consistently good. I know last year with standing, the Ravens are always competitive, always in the postseason, always making things happen because they draft rather well. And we always ridicule other teams from how did this guy fall to insert Ravens selection here, and how do they end up with that guy? I think that's still the mantra for Baltimore, which is why I've always been a big fan of how they draft. And so it doesn't matter who they draft at 14. It's going to be a very good player, in my opinion. It depends on where you're talking about positions or what, I feel like if we're looking at the Ravens, I wouldn't, knowing how they are built philosophically, it's about O-line, D-line, period. Yeah. You start there and then everything else falls into place.
Okay, perfect, because we are all in agreement. O-line and D-line, okay? Just give us 2 or 3 names of an offensive or defensive lineman that could be there at 14 that you'd be like, oh, I would run the card up for this guy.
Oh,
come on,
I would say for defensive lineman, I notice some people may say this is a little early for this guy, but I am a big fan of Dominic Orange out of Iowa State. And the reason why I like him as a nose tackle, because people, and I'm using this as how I use it when we were talking about Dexter Lawrence when he was coming out of Clemson. People's like, oh, he's just a gap clogging nose tackle. Like, no, man, look at his ankles. They're thin ankles. He got twitch. They're just asking him to occupy gaps. He can be an upfield penetrator at the nose tackle position. I feel that way about Orange. You watch how he plays with great leverage. It's at times it's like he's toying with the offensive lineman. Like he'll stack, and then once he sees where the ball is going, all right, I'm done with you. And then he goes and get the ball. Like he's quickly able to disengage and go get the football. So now you envision that on the defensive line for the Ravens. You have someone that can control the interior. It frees up everything else on the outside for someone just to go and get the quarterback. You can win in your one-on-ones.
But at 14,
I don't listen. When it's week 9 and Dominic Orange is having a good game, do you care he was drafted?
I know.
So that's how I look at it. Like
I know
we worry about the positional value and where they're drafted now. But during the season, no one cares. Can he play?
What if Lemon drops?
If Mekhi Lemon is a big body wide receiver, but that doesn't help you on the offensive line.
Yeah.
What about if Vega's there?
If who?
Vega.
Oh, from Penn State.
Yeah, I can't say his whole name.
Listen, I would say this. I think the number 1 guard in the draft is Jalen Farmer out of Kentucky. So that's someone, when you watch Farmer play, everything looks how you draw it up, like technique, hands inside, feet moving through contact. He's always getting movement in the run game. Pass pro, he's able to mirror and match, play the piano, passing guys off stunts and twists. Everything looks consistent, and I think that's the top guard. But from Vega from Penn State is outstanding too. So it would, anytime you go, guys, I've told you guys multiple times, big tackle propaganda has gotten everyone to focus on left tackle, blind side. It's really about guards in the guard play. That's where offenses won. And if you're strong down the battery, you're going to be strong as a football team. Center, quarterback, running back, nose tackle, Mike Backer, free safety.
Sarah, guard play the last couple of years. Do we know anything about shortcomings there? And
I wasn't going to mention the names, but there's been like I was always amazed at how the Ravens at times went out there playing 10 on 11 because there was a gaping hole at one of those spots.
Listen, I know you don't want to say names. Do you just want to nod if I say Daniel Fa'alele? Okay, just making sure.
Smile and nod. It's pretty clear that they have an in-house candidate in Emory Jones that they're excited about, and that they feel like maybe with Dwayne Ledford and his new staff that accomplished a lot in Atlanta, that he's going to be a developmental guy for them, that maybe he's a plug-and-play starter in September for all we know.
And we know he's athletic because he was a tackle at LSU. So, and now he's kicking down inside. So think about this in terms of, okay, you move down inside, you have tackle-like ability in terms of like your footwork and your eyes are trained on the outside, but now he got trained on the inside last year, so it kind of helps the transition. Maybe this is the year he breaks out, and now you have your answer already in-house. I like that you brought up an in-house answer because a lot of times folks will always want to look to the draft when the answer may already be on the roster.
Well, especially Sarah, because there is a high regard for Dwayne Ledford.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to George Warhop, who's been around everywhere practically throughout his long tenured NFL career as an offensive line coach. But there was a drop off there.
Yeah.
After Joe D tragically passed. And I think Jesse knew that in going about his staff. And so here comes Ledford. Here comes a resurgent, they're hoping, Ronnie Stanley. Here comes a Roger Rosengarten who had a sophomore slump. And now, like you and I were talking about pre-show, does here come Mr. Extension Man, Tyler Linderbaum, because his face right now says it all. He is going to be distraught. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. He's going to be distraught if Linderbaum ends up hitting the open market. Will you not?
I will say this, because I got to give the backstory to the folks out there in the public. I'll pull you guys behind the curtain. So we do these segments on CBS Sports HQ. We get the rundown. It's like, hey, we're going to land. We're doing this free agency thing where it's like landing spots. This is before free agency now. So it's like, where did these guys land? And, you have your obvious free agents. Let's say guys that contract is up, like an Aaron Rodgers or someone like that, right? And so one time it's like, what about Tyler Linderbaum? I'm like, why is this even a thing? Like, who is he? Is his contract up? And they were like, nah. I'm like, he's not leaving Baltimore. Like, what sense would that make, right? And so that's why my face was like, yeah, I don't. So because I was like, man, we wasting our time. We doing this segment that's gonna die.
Let's do a different segment.
Yeah, it's like he's not leaving Baltimore, and so if he leaves, I would be flabbergasted if he leaves. But it's just it makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? So yes, if you have him, you have Emory Jones, you have the new coach, it would work.
Yeah.
If Baltimore allows Linderbaum to leave and ends up in Cleveland or New York, shame on Baltimore.
Yeah.
And shame on Old Bay and shame on the crab cakes.
It's the crab cake's fault, right?
I love it.
Sarah,
Real
we were just
quick.
discussing it at length, right? We were just talking about this. There's a little bit of a standoff being had between, perceived to be a standoff between DaCosta and Linderbaum's camp. And of course, that might just be normal negotiating tactics leading into it's pre-free agency right now. As you know, it's going to get active next week. And then the tampering window begins, the 9th and 10th, and then the new league year begins on the 11th. Sarah, you were going to follow up something there.
Well, just before we move on from the offensive line, I did want your scattering report on Emory Jones coming out of last year. And by the way, Bobby texted me at 8 p.m. He's like, Emory's coming on tomorrow at 12:30. I was like, Emory Jones?
I
Close
said,
enough.
Better.
Close enough.
Yeah,
Close
much
enough.
better. What was your scouting report on him? And now that he's healthy, how do you feel like he would fare at guard?
It's funny because he was projected as a guard despite playing tackle. And then you saw him play, sort of he had a great Senior Bowl. And I think a lot of the questions you had about his footwork and it kind of tailed off from his freshman year. I thought he was a little bit better than Will Campbell, you know what I'm saying? And then Will Campbell just elevated his sophomore year. And so he got better and Emory Jones kind of stayed steady. And so it was like, okay, does he have the movement skills? Can he consistently be where he needs to be footwork wise and hand wise? And maybe that's not going to be a great thing on the tackle side. So, which is why guard makes more sense for him. So watching him play in relief at times was like, okay, it's starting to click for him. Then he got up because, he had a late start to camp and everything. So he's get up to speed, shoulder. And now he's I think that his potential is exponential in terms of now he comes in as a guard. He knows the NFL is like. He's healthy. I think we'll see him be able to build on that and supersede what I had as a grade on him.
Emory, we got a super chat here from Kobe Pruitt. He said, put it in the books. Ravens will select talented defensive end Reuben Bain Jr. because lesser teams overlook talent in tape because his arms measured short. Can you give us your scouting report on Bain? And how much stock do you put in arm length?
Two things. One, I love Bain. It's my favorite defender in the class. Bain looks like, here's the thing. First reason is that Bain looks like he's 25 and 45 at the same time. So you love that about him. He just showed up just looking like somebody's dad from the 80s. And so he already has a mature look. He probably got a mortgage and everything. And then the second football reason why, in terms of the short arms, think about this, and I always use this example because it's so true. Mike Tyson was 5'10" and was outreached by everybody he boxed. It did not matter because he got inside and knocked you out. It's all about winning with the hands first battle. And Bane tends to win the hands first battle. And also with this, football, all the time we hear this coaches, low man wins, low man wins, low man wins. Here's a low man. Wow, you got to be, you got to need a taller. Like low man, he got natural leverage.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he's strong, physically, functionally strong. And then we see time and time again, this is another underrated trait of football players who has a great sense of timing. Like you're watching a game and you're watching the ebb and flow of a game, you're like, man, they need a big play defensively. Then boom,
he's there.
Bane makes the play.
He's there.
It's just random, but it seems like it always happens on time.
Yeah.
So if he's there when Baltimore picks, what we just talked about earlier in the segment, something went horribly wrong with the rest of the draft, and we'll be saying, how the hell did the league let Bane fall to the Ravens? Because that is an ideal pick.
It's that 14. Yeah, I was going to say, it's that slot where we were just having this conversation 4 years ago with Kyle Hamilton at 14. We just got another super chat, by the way. Everybody's starting to get in on the Emory logic train here. KP writes, FYI, Cassius Howell's arms were short as well. We had a segment on him earlier in the week, edge rusher.
Yeah.
Wait, what are you shaking your head at?
Because I just like when the arm length thing, because I just had that question posed about a defender, a cornerback. Like people are worried about his arms. Like, I'm like, man, if he's constantly his hands are on you first, it negates the length. So if you have long arms, that's fine, but can you get him on them quickly? That's the difference. Yeah. If I get to you first, your long arms just in the way.
Thank you, KP. Dream says, to everyone against taking a guard at 14, why not? I'll just assume that you all want Lele back. Vega is the best offensive lineman in the draft. He would help, but you think he's the second best?
Guard. Yeah, because
guard.
Yeah, guard.
Top overall offensive lineman is?
I would probably venture out to say my number one tackle is Monroe Freeling out of Georgia.
Okay.
So I'm a big fan of him. I like Francis Mawanoa, who could play guard or tackle. That could be another versatile piece for Baltimore if he's there at 14, something went horribly wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So
but Vega's universally believed as in your mind as the top rated guard.
Right. Not in my rankings, but I wouldn't push back on someone that had him as the number one guard by far because he's good. And it's funny because a lot of linemen don't do this well when they get out on the move. Some guys move great when they get out on the move, but miss the target completely. Some guys are a little bit more clunky when they get there, but they connect accurately and consistently. He connects accurately and consistently when he's out on the move.
What is the gap since you have Farmer number 1 and you've got Vega number 2? What's the gap between them in your rankings? Is it a big gap or are they
it's like 2 points, something like that, like between 82 and 80. So still high grade. It's just that the difference between someone that's consistently doing the things consistently versus someone that you see a slight difference in the athleticism in the twitch.
Bearded Bites and Breakdowns as the Q&A continues here says, big fan, can you tell me why Inez Cooper isn't rated high? Well, what's your rated though?
He's a big guard, a big guy. He's like 6'8", 345. So he's huge. And when you have someone that size and that size up front, you see them move people out the way. And when you move people out the way, that's the difference. But at times I feel like he just kind of leans on folks and not moves guys about the way. So you could be big and just rely on that, but you got to get your feet moving. And I feel like a lot of times, a lot of offensive line where I've seen this in grading, tackle or guard or center, their feet kind of get stuck upon contact. They just die upon contact. Like you got to keep your feet moving. It's a short area burst game. Yeah. And if your feet are dying, then you're just clogging up space.
Emery's got a paparazzi over here, by the way.
I do it for the people. You know what I'm
saying? we got a whole photography team that's tracking us down right now.
Taking pictures.
Go ahead,
Love
Sarah.
It. I was
it's a sweatshirt, guys. It's a sweatshirt. New Year, same me. You know what I'm saying?
I love that. Who needs a resolution when you're on that Emery train, baby?
Oh, man, I'm the complete opposite. I love some resolutions and goals. Okay.
I just told her this 2 months ago. I said, Sarah, I ain't doing that.
Sarah looks like she has a notebook of her New Year's resolutions.
I won't even tell you. My husband all got us these frames that we can put our goals in, so it's sitting on our desk every day so we can look at them. So, I got it all broken down into physical, spiritual, intellectual, all of it. Okay, let's move on. The Ravens are probably going to lose Isaiah Likely. Not feeling great about Kohler either. The Ravens have a history of drafting 2 tight ends often in the same draft. Can you give us some thoughts on maybe some, I don't know, maybe day 3 tight ends that would look good in the Ravens uniform?
You absolutely asked the right guy that question, right? Because we're talking about day 3. That's where I live. You
didn't even need to be
exactly
given a heads up.
I am down.
I gave you a heads up, but you didn't need a heads up.
I'm from Dundalk to Cold Spring Lane. I got it. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how often I travel to Baltimore. I knew those deals, so I just out there, like just
Mr. Morgan State.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Just try to relate.
Come on now, the guy's done a color game in just about every single school around the Baltimore
Somebody
area.
around the country got pictures of me, so it's like I've been around the world twice, spoke to everybody once. So, tight ends, day 3, Bauer Sharp, I feel like is underrated.
Okay,
from Oklahoma via Southeastern Louisiana via LSU, right? So he's played in multiple schools, but I like his fluidity. I do think he catches the ball rather well. He is more likely the move piece, the guy, the H-back type. And when you think about another day 3 guy, I look at Oscar Delp of Georgia. Reminds me a lot of what they had last year that they barely used in Ben Urashek from Stanford's, but then transferred to Georgia and was non-existent. But he was a great receiving tight end at Stanford. And, went to Georgia and was like, and then I forgot where he ended up as he was in the draft last year. But Delp is someone that was on a team with Brock Bowers when he was killing it. And Delp was the freshman. He's like, man, they got another guy that can get out there and just move. And so I like the fact that he's still flying under the radar. He's more of a flex H-back type. So both of those guys are good move tight ends. I think that was great. And Joe Royer from Cincinnati played at Ohio State early on, but was behind, a lot of guys, and then transferred to Cincinnati. And then you saw to this year the athleticism, the ability with the ball after the catch. He's more like Isaiah Likely in terms of how he can weave through defenses and a good run after catch guy. So those are 3 guys that you can find that can help the Ravens out at tight end.
Well, like Sarah said, they found him not only on the same day, but in the same round.
Yeah.
In the 4th round back in 2022, where they had Sarah, 6 picks, I think. 5 or 6 picks in that round alone, and both have ended up. Look, I mean, we talked about it pre-show. Mm-hmm. Both are untapped in some ways right now, based on usage, based on volume, and to Sarah's point, that may end up being why they're motivated to go get an opportunity elsewhere with Mark Andrews under contract.
But sometimes you got to understand your best opportunity may be the one you have currently in hand. Lights are different when you
if you're Charlie or if you're Isaiah. What's your point there?
Let's say if you are, I think both. I think the way they have it constructed works really well. Everybody wants to be Ralph Tresvant, but until you get out there, if you ain't got the pipes, sometimes you got to be Bobby. Sometimes you got to be Michael Bivens. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't be out there like Ralph Tresvant with the great voice and the dancing moves combined. So sometimes it's best being the backup singer.
I think Isaiah's had enough of that chorus.
Well, listen, no one coming to see you, Otis. Like everybody, you might be just continue to be that one because it's the matchups. Because if everybody goes to be a 1, I get it. That makes sense. He's definitely a guy that could be a number 1 option. But man, you miss when I
get it. And Doyle's going to run a ton of 12 personnel, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities. He made it crystal clear sitting down with John Gruden a couple weeks ago that he's essentially told his agent, Sarah, paraphrasing, go and get our best offer out there. Yep. And, hey, maybe this scenario is for Charlie, right? Maybe Charlie gets his opportunity to be a true 1B for the years to come, and the Ravens give him an extension over the course of the next couple of years. But we also talked about it in the pre-show that he lit it up at Iowa State, not as a pass blocker, not as someone that was going to get out in front of the run game. He'll do all those things, and he has done it certainly well here in Baltimore. But he was a dog. He was a pass catcher dog at Iowa State, and he hasn't had a chance to realize that potential yet at the NFL.
Yeah, and I'm glad. I love that they still are hungry for that, and I do understand them wanting the opportunity to prove that they are more than what they are. But just selfishly, I wish you can catch. That's the whole part of drafting.
Yeah.
You draft depth, you have good talent, you have options, and when you lose that, you just got to keep going back to and drafting more.
Pete wants to know what positions are deep and which are not, and then if you could add into that, could you fold the wide receiver group into that question?
Well, here's the thing. Because I grade so many prospects every draft class, I think every draft is deep. So
Okay.
that's how I answer that question. Because I've graded 60-something quarterbacks, 100 running backs. So it goes on and on. Because you grade so many, so you can see talent everywhere. I think why that is, one, people are staying in college longer. So when they do come out, you have a vat of talent out there. Also, everything trickles up. So from high school trickles up to college, trickles up to the pro game. So high school, we're seeing more. You see the proliferation of 7-on-7. So more passing. College, you're seeing more 3, 4, 5 wide receiver sets. So receivers are now having more time on task. So these guys, we used to say, oh, it takes a receiver 3 years before they finally hit their stride. Now they're hitting their stride year one because they've got 10,000 hours of running routes in college. So therefore, you're going to see a deeper group across the board. Byproduct, too, you're going to see a deeper secondary. Corners, slot corners, safeties that can now cover. So it's deep because of that. Tight ends we're talking about now because they're using tight ends as bigger wide receivers, moving them around. Therefore, you're seeing that on the other side. You're seeing linebackers that can cover. So that's why the game has gotten deeper. Where we're seeing the bell, that's the bell of the bell curve. The ends are the O-line and D-line because we're not seeing the same run game that we're used to seeing, the fire off the ball. And so it's not – so linemen are kind of being one-dimensional. You still have same footwork issues, some hand usage issues because they're kind of trying to play in space. D linemen, you don't see the guys that just continue to fire off the ball like that because now you got to play in space. They don't have the runway to go get the quarterback because the ball coming out so quick now.
Yeah.
And so we've seen the thinning out of the D-line linebackers by nature of the position because you probably could put an extra defensive back in there, and O-linemen because they're not getting the rotations that they're used to. Like, even though you're playing 80 plays, like 65 of them are passing plays. It's like, so that's long-winded way of answering that question of why I feel like the draft is always deep, but also where the meat tends to be, which is why you see these undrafted free agents, wide receivers, and cornerbacks that are able to make teams and make impacts.
Well, along those lines, Kobe's back with another one. He's like, is it a deep draft to use all 11 picks that the Ravens are slated to have right now, or consolidate? They have not traded back in the first round since Lamar in 2018. Am I correct on that, Sarah, off the top of my head? I believe that was the last time they traded back in the first round.
And then back in, obviously.
They added they added to their 2022 first round class, obviously, and went after two potential, they're already perennial all-pro guys in Linderbaum and Hamilton, but haven't actually traded back since 2018.
So I feel like it's a deep draft to use all 11 picks. I'm a pro draft guy. So if I have 11 picks,
self-admitted,
exactly, I feel like I can make 11 great picks. Because I view the class as deep as always. But I'm like, so I'm looking at, I don't want to waste no picks. You know what I'm saying? And it's the best way to compile cheap talent and depth across the board, and it allows you to figure things out. You may find your diamond in the rough with these 11 picks and on top of the undrafted free agent. So I would use all 11. There are no throwaway picks, and that's how I feel about it, because you always feel like you could find that you're only one pick away from another game changer. And I feel like if I have 11, I got a great chance.
Queon says Quentin Nelson was drafted 6th overall. Tyler Booker was drafted 12th overall. So why is drafting a guard at 14 such a big issue? Well, you're certainly not saying that.
Nah, because I had Booker as my number one guard last year, and so I was ecstatic.
How things work out for him?
It worked out great. You know what I'm saying? Quentin Nelson, obviously. So again, that person knows ball. Because here's the thing.
Oh, this is a Virginia. I should add. This is a Central Virginia guy right here.
So
Dreams.
Okay, so Central Virginia. That's where we used to be, right?
You already know.
I already know. So that's how they get down that way.
So, Sarah, Emery and I would commute from like anywhere within the Northeast
Right.
to do these games. I was just coming up. He was like a budding color analyst, and so Central Virginia is like close to our
Just
hearts
'cause-
because we would plug it in and be like, oh man,
Like, man, what the hell it is?
ETA?
Like,
Are you serious?
Like, what's the speed
Are we
limit?
chasing this
Right.
career? Like, what are we doing right now?
Like, shout out to the Shenandoah Valley.
Yeah, exactly.
I told look, CC last year. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. I told you been around the world twice, but everybody was. I will say the big tackle propaganda has gotten to people. It's almost like you need 3 meals a day. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Those are all lies.
Agreed on that.
You know what I'm saying? So
Really?
Yeah.
You know-
How you think I lost weight?
You're not a breakfast
intermittent
guy?
fasting. I was a big breakfast guy. Then I realized I'd be eating
During
3
those
meals a day.
fullback years.
Yeah, I was like, why am I eating 3 meals a day? You know what I'm saying? And so I shut that down, and I'm down to my college weight now. So that's why I look
Good for
sexy
you.
on camera. You know, so
He is looking slim, I might
hey,
add.
that's what it is. For a year, I did that, and boom, back to my.
How about
I was eating 3 meals a day for no reason because I just felt like I had to. So
Amazing.
the thing is, that's how big propaganda is. So when everybody says you got to get your franchise left tackle, really, guard, center, guard is the key to offense.
Guard, center, guard.
Really? That's shocking to me.
Yeah, it's really,
They're not paid that way.
because of propaganda.
See, I love this because you are unique to your opinions. You're not going to get this when you go on the national level and hear from different draft analysts. Maybe you will be.
No, you won't.
Exactly.
You won't.
Exactly.
They're all about
Which
you got to
is
get the franchise left tackle.
But the cream of the crop rise to the top, and this guy's on his way right here.
Think about it. We spent a good portion of this time talking about what for the Baltimore Ravens?
Protection.
Guard.
Yeah.
Guard.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you notice when the guard is messing up?
Right.
Ooh,
Of course
we
right?
noticed, all right. Voorhees and Fa'alele sure is breaking the propaganda here in Baltimore.
So, Em, I think this is good that, and we got to promote we got to take a look at football game plan here, Sarah, and I'm sure you maybe have another
I do just
question.
have one more double question.
Perfect. But I think just for once and for all, because if 2 months time from now, you already know there's going to be a section of the fan base that if they spend 14 draft capital on a guard, there's just, whether they're casuals or not, that they want skill positions, will view it as not sexy. You're sitting here saying it should be highly attractive.
Because I also feel that way about game breakers, whether it's a running back or a receiver or a guy that turns the ball over. If you can score or take the ball away, I want you on my football team.
What if Jeremiah Love's there?
Then you take him. You know what I'm saying? Why not? You know, like, so if he's there at 14, something went horribly wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
exactly.
but that to my point to the question is, when you look at how pivotal it is in terms of the interior of offensive line, it's the movement. The closer you are to the ball, the more important you are. And so if you're able to get movement on either side of it, you're going to have success. No quarterback worth his salt can step up into a pocket that has a lineman in his face. Any quarterback worth his salt can step up if someone's rushing off the edge.
Okay, Emery, I need one wide receiver and one cornerback that screams Raven to you.
One wide receiver and one cornerback.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Pines is the corner. D'Angelo Pines reminds me of Aaron Glenn. You know, shorter corner that could play outside, good technique, good ball skills, good tackler. That screams Baltimore. People laughed at me, 3 years ago when I had the #1 combo safety rated and he went undrafted. All he was doing is balling out for exactly.
Ardarius Washington.
Bingo. So I could care less about
I
rankings
feel like
or size and not a skill.
Two of your rankings that have absolutely aged like fine Italian wine is Ardarius Washington and Keaton.
Yeah.
Remind us what you had on Keaton.
I had a pretty high grade. He was like in my top 5 backs.
That's what it was.
Right. And I got
went
clowned for that
undrafted.
list because my #1 back that year was Gibbs. And people was like, how could you have Bijan #2 and Gibbs 1? And then who the hell is a Keaton Mitchell? He's only 179. And by week 6, everybody's like, oh man, Keaton Mitchell like fun. And I'm just sitting back with the double birds. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Were you screaming at John Harbaugh and Todd Monken when they kept him on the bench for the better part of the season? What was that all about?
Sometimes coaches get in the way of good player, and players know who's the best player. Like they see it in practice every day, and so they couldn't wait for a guy to get out there because that's what they knew.
Yeah.
In terms of receiver, Sarah, I would look at that screams Raven. I would say now that's a funny question because when I think of play like a Raven, I think of how funny the Ravens game tend to follow the same script every Sunday. You know, big lead. Zay Flowers catch a pass, zigzag, lose 10 yards, random fumble. Lamar has, you know what I'm saying, a moment where he just kind of like
fluky pick
that bounced off 6 players' heads and then a missed chip shot, extra point last. That they don't worry about it, and then they lose by 1. So all of that is Baltimore. That's play like Raven every Sunday.
Did he watch Ravens football this year or what?
That's every week.
Hey, can you do one? Okay, for scratch the way I phrased that question. Give me a wide receiver you would love to see in purple for Lamar.
I'm a big Denzel Boston guy.
Wait, who?
Oh, baby. Denzel Boston. The chat's about to go off at
baby.
this. Here we go. You want a big body with Lamar because he's never had it.
He never had it. And the cool part about Denzel Boston, he could play small. So he could win short. He's a catch and run guy, but he also could do the big stuff you need the big guys to do deep down the field. So I would say Denzel Boston would be the perfect Baltimore Raven.
Oh, boy. I know the chat's going to like that one because, again, whether it was Des Bryant for a month during the pandemic, DeAndre Hopkins on the back 9 of his career. Sarah, who else am I missing on the back 9 of their career that would be
Des Bryant was out there.
true X?
Yeah, Des Bryant.
None of those count.
Yeah, none of those
count. It's all due
Not
respect.
when you're signed to the practice squad.
Yes, which was Des.
It's fun. Again, the play like a Raven thing is just Ravens find like it'd be so fascinating, the new innovative ways they find to lose. Like Ravens could lose a game 13.5 to 10. You're like, girl, I didn't even know you can get a half a point, but it will happen to the Ravens. Like that point, that I'm telling you, every just we be in studio watching all the games, and then so we watch all we watch the game, then we see the Ravens game. It's like, yo, okay,
buckle up.
There's the Zay Flowers first down negated by Zay Flowers. So you get the first down and run this. That's 1. Check them off. You know what I'm saying? Oh, there's a random phantom fumble by somebody, and then that's 2. Oh, here's a random. The ball gets tipped by the lineman, the coach, and then back in the field to play interception. Lamar, and just like we're on schedule.
Emery, you said that coaches can get in the way. When you have so many of your star players bungling things like that, whether it's Zay or it's Mark Andrews or whoever, and obviously John Harbaugh, the context of this is John Harbaugh just got fired. How much of that is players? How much of that is coaching?
It's both. Both share because players got to lock in, and they only can lock in if you either coaching it or you're allowing it. And when those things consistently happen, that shows you it's probably being allowed. Oh, just run it again, or we just move on to the next play. Like, not saying that's what happened because I don't know, I'm not at practice, but for it to happen, like the Ravens game, we knew it was going to happen in that Steelers game. By far, we knew it was going to happen. At some point, it was going to happen.
We'd seen the script before.
We have, right? So, and even when Lamar threw it to the deep ball to, I think Zay Flowers, he's gonna fall backwards, or they're gonna get called for traveling back to the offensive line. Something's gonna happen. Yeah. But then it was like, there's a touchdown. Oh wow, they might actually win. Then they missed the field. So there you go.
Yeah, the whole thing was
right. It just happened out of order, but it's going to happen.
It's funny. You're well liked in our audience when you're just speaking truth, which is also harsh truth.
Yeah.
And yet no one in the chat is taking personal shots. There's no vendettas. That's when you're well liked in this audience. And you're also well liked around Radio Row. So let's get you out of here. But
Dream one last question, because I love that he asked a BYU question.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I mean, how could you? Of course, Sarah was going to bring this one up. Chase Roberts, BYU Cougar.
Wide receiver, physical. And again, after the catch is something that you like about these BYU wide receivers. They have a type 2. You can go now. Again, all of that is they're 30 years old, but outside of that, they have the same
25. Okay, 25.
They have the same MO. They love a guy that's physical, that plays stronger than what he's listed, and I think that's how they have that success.
Okay.
So I'm a big fan of Chase Roberts. I love his game. Again, short, intermediate. That's where he lives. That's where the pro game, passing game lives. That's where he excels completely.
I think Sarah skipped over this on purpose because
I for sure did.
There's an ongoing theme. We're not going to do that here, though. We don't skip over super chats, Sarah, especially with KP. And this is a little bit of an inside joke that you might pick up on here quickly. But thoughts on selecting Caleb Downs if he drops, and just keep in mind what happened 4 years ago, almost to the day, when Kyle fell in their lap.
Play the recording from earlier where I say, if he is here at 14, something went horribly wrong. This is the best safety in the class. And what I love about him is that he loves the game. And if I'm talking to guys here at the combine, players, I say, hey man, you remind me. So if I'm talking to somebody like Downs, safety, hey man, you remind me of. I'm gonna go all the way back and say like Dick Night Train Lane because I know they don't watch football like that, right? But if I say Bob Sanders, I expect you kind of know who that is. They're like, well, I don't know who's that, and you're like, dang, like football didn't just exist in 2010. You know what I'm saying? So these kids don't watch the game like we used to because that's all we had. They see it all the time. They got other interests, right? Internet's popping and cell phones. We didn't have that. We had to lock in, and so Downs actually studies the game. So I can say, man, you remind me so much of Ronnie Lott. He's like, yeah, in 1985, Lott did. And like,
see, that's cool because what is he, 20?
Right, exactly. He
21?
should know nothing about Ronnie Lott,
Yeah.
but I love that he's passionate
cool.
about his position. And his brother plays in the league, Josh Downs.
Yep.
So he's coming from a football family. He eats, sleeps, and breathes it. Football IQ is off the charts. Ball skills is off the charts. So that's someone that shouldn't fall past two, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, that's good news
you
for
might as
our
well
co-host
take
here.
Boston over him because that's 3 first-round safeties in 5 years. We're not doing that.
Baltimore has a type.
This is good news for our co-host over here in Columbus because now they can go address trenches at 14, and she can sleep at night moving forward come April. That's the inside joke.
I got you.
Yes. Footballgameplan.com. You've been building this around the clock for years running now. It's one of the bread and butters of what you do as a draft analyst. Remind everybody what's going on, what we should know, and where folks can get a copy.
Footballgameplan.com/2026 draft guide. It'll have over 1,000 individual scouting reports like it always does, the largest draft guide in existence every year. And if you purchase the draft guide since 2020, you would now have over 7,000 individual scouting reports in your.
I'm going to give you control too as you talk about it.
Yeah. So look
Take
at
us through.
So excuse this GeoCities website because I hadn't updated it. The only thing I updated on this website is this right here, which is important right there. Like pre-order the 2026 draft guide. And if you get, you know what I'm saying, if you got a little bit more money than usual, go and buy all the other draft guides too. But this is the one that's coming out in 2026. Listen, it is not a physical book. You guys don't understand how often I get questions like, I didn't get my book in the mail. Bro, if I sent you a book that had over 1,000 pages, I would charge you tuition. You know what I'm saying? So it's a PDF file. Check your spam folder for you saying you didn't send me my PDF. Give me my 25. It's in your spam folder. Oh yeah, my bad. Right. Also,
yes,
pre-order. That also means it's not out yet. So don't hit me up and be like, yo, I ain't get my book yet. Yeah, because it ain't out yet. I don't even have it yet. I'm working on the offense. I'll be done with offense this weekend. Then I'll start defense late March, early April is when you can expect it. Check your spam folder. It's a PDF. It's full color. It's all the information you need and nothing that you don't.
Done. Just link to it in the live chat. Again, footballgameplan.com. It's coming down to the wire. This is your time of year.
My time of year, man.
And because this is your time of year, you are a sought-after guy here on Radio Row. So I appreciate continuing to be able to do this with you. And, partner, we all good?
We're all good. I love you, Emery, man. I love it every single time you come on this show. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Love you too, Sarah, with all your notes that you have. Like I'm telling you, she has a resolutions notebook that's with tabs.
I think so too. Because she leans into that because she likes bettering herself, which I do as well.
I do too.
I think my counter to her.
I like it.
Yeah, she is. My counter to her a couple months ago when the calendar flip was basically like, yo, I want to live a life. Well, I don't have to rely on resolutions, which she does as well. But I think we just have different we're very similar in terms of motivators and motivated people, but see the world differently in some ways.
I will say this too. I gotta before I exit. Your hair is glorious. Like,
did we talk about what I did a few years ago?
No. I saw that. I followed you and I saw that. You know what I'm saying? I know you got your Turkish up, but it was like I will say, I noticed it yesterday. I was like, your hair is glorious.
Appreciate it.
You look like a new man walking around.
Thanks, man.
Not saying you didn't look bad. You didn't look good before, but I just noticed the difference. There's a Sarah. He is floating out here in Indy. Like he is gliding.
Let's be very clear. Sarah, let's be very clear. When we became close, and I was in my early 20s, with the paternal hairline that I was dealing with, the widow's peak was generational. And when you go pick a job where you're on camera, it's pretty well known. So when I saw you probably a couple of years ago, you were like, who is that?
That boy is stressing.
It's all because of Bosley, man. They reached out with an opportunity.
Bro, I'm telling you, I wouldn't lie to you.
Thanks.
Like
Bobby, if you had let that kept going, you would have had to move to print journalism.
Literally, that was one of my tactics when negotiating the deal itself. I'm like, guys, I'm in a line of work where I look at myself inadvertently every single day.
Yeah. And I read the comments. Like I go back and I read the comments, and they've been tearing you up, but
yeah.
they can't say nothing.
Oh man,
like that, you talk your shit now. You should do this thing straight.
Listen, I'll never forget it. There was a webcam directly above me when I started at WBAL in Baltimore, and it was tear up Tuesday, Wednesday, any day of the week. They were tearing me up on Livewire, it was called, because of the angle that was just annihilating my hairline. So I appreciate you.
It looked like Hawaiian Islands. I saw that. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks for gassing me up, man. I appreciate you. Emery Hunt, ladies and gentlemen, always kind with his time. He couldn't get out of here without gassing me up. How about this? That's an OG right there. We've been on the front lines together in this business for a long time.
You're gonna come back before the draft, right, Emery?
I am. Once the draft guide is done, I'll be able to
Oh, actually, wait. Yeah, let's just settle this now. Do we want to do it after you get that thing launched as a teaser?
Yep.
Or post draft, or both?
Both.
Okay.
I love y'all.
There
both.
you go. All right, man.
Perfect.
And shout out Brian for making the connection.
Shout out, and you don't have to text me that you saw me on the show because I know you saw me on the show.
Mr. Voltron himself.
Screenshot of him watching the show. Like I
That's
get
hysterical.
It. That's my guy.
I love it. All right. Well, we're gonna get back to doing the show, Em. Enjoy it. Keep rolling because it's the players are going to start. This is essentially day one of the combine for not everybody.
On-field drills, yeah.
Like in terms of testing and measurables and all that good stuff. So this is where it begins for you. So best of luck this weekend.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, Em. All right, partner. Where to next?
Should we finish
Let's get
up
some super chats?
Yeah,
let's do that. All right, Em. This guy, I'm telling you, top guest alert.
Oh man,
especially those that show love to the hair.
I am never gonna forget the Hawaiian Islands. The Hawaiian Islands comment. Oh,
Sarah's laughing her ass off at the Hawaiian Islands comment. Oh man.
Okay.
Sarah, let's do it.
Before we get to the rest of today's, 2 super chats came in right after we finished the show yesterday, and I hate not giving them love. So of course Eric was one of those guys with the $20 super chat. I was so bummed that we couldn't give him his love yesterday. So I took screen grabs of it. Eric said, in case no one tells you today they love you, just know that I do. On the road driving today for work. Again, thank you everyone for prayers and well wishes. Meant to send this yesterday. Be safe.
Yeah, look, I've had a chance to read the email. I know you have as well. Eric is extremely forthcoming with us. He's transparent with us. He's honest. He's open. And I just got a ton of respect for him. You know, he's built a community
right now.
He is. He's got an uphill climb as he notes, and he's got some adversity. He's looking in the eye right now. But we're there with him, and we're email pals, and I've met him in person before. I feel that upstate New York connection, and I feel like undoubtedly, Sarah, he will find a way to get up and over this climb that he's doing. So
you asked for it. Do we want to share it here? He sent us a GoFundMe link.
Yeah.
Maybe we should share it in the chat. I'm sure Eric is always giving. In fact, today he's already given 5 gifted memberships to the show here on YouTube. He's always giving to for sure us, but also everybody else with these memberships. So maybe we can drop his GoFundMe because again, he is going through it. He's definitely going through it. And he's so generous. I know you and I are going to be generous back. And if anybody else so chooses in the super chat or in the chat, you could do so also.
Yeah, I'm going to throw the link in right now. And I think whenever there's a link involved, I know, if it's me, I want to know what I'm donating to. Mm-hmm. I also know that folks appreciate Eric enough to know that if there's help that's needed, they're willing to. I also don't want to go and share what we both know he's dealing with without his permission.
Yeah.
So why don't we do this? Let's drop the link in here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll certainly endorse in good faith the encouragement of donating. And then when he gives us the ultimate green light, if he does, we'll share more about what's going on so that maybe more folks would be motivated outside of just maybe knowing Eric from an online relationship. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Awesome. Eric, we'll look forward to getting that green light for you. And the GoFundMe link was just dropped into the live chat. And you're right. He's gifting membership, which always inspires, and that's what he does, because look what happened after. Jimmy G, not long after, became our newest channel member, and I know you have a second super chat on the screen from yesterday as well.
Yeah, from yesterday's RQ the Q says, I was under the impression that at 14 defensive tackle was too early. We were talking about Peter Woods yesterday. I also felt like that was a little bit too early. He says, if not, sign me up for Caden. He's talking about what's Caden's last name? OSU McDonald. That's it. OSU defensive tackle. He says, if not, sign me up for Caden. Him next to 92 in a Mentor and Weaver defense, we would be feared again.
Just got to get Nnamdi, got to get some assurance there to get Nnamdi back in the fold. We also have a super chat that's come in from MDaddy006, who writes, Lamar does not have to be mentioned by name. Why do you all think that everyone in the national media believes that Doyle's comments were geared towards Lamar? It was subliminal. No, I think that they were geared towards, or I think national media became a thing because they wanted to make nothing into something.
Well, and because Lamar makes everybody money.
Yeah.
Like he just does. Like he's a lightning rod. He's gonna get viewers. He's gonna get clicks. And he's the franchise quarterback. So yeah, of course that's what the national media does. Of course, but that doesn't mean that it was subliminal. I mean, I'm honest when I say this. I'm actually curious if Declan Doyle, knowing how detailed he is and that he's been up in Chicago and all that kind of stuff, I know how these coaches live, okay? Outside of your head coaches and maybe your coordinators, these coaches live, breathe, sleep, drink football. I see them spend the night at facilities. I see them grow a beard in under a week because they just don't leave the facility. They're constantly scheming and implementing game plans and all that kind of stuff. I honestly wonder if Declan Doyle even knew what he was stepping into.
Yeah.
Honestly.
M-Daddy, he's been talking about this for days now. From what I've seen in the live chat, we just aren't on the same page there. But appreciate the super chat, man. And let's get some quick hits. Sarah, we got a bunch of them.
We got a ton here. Another offensive lineman is about to hit the market, according to Ian Rapp, or center specifically. Titans releasing starting center Lloyd Cushenberry. They'll be moving on from him, who was a big ticket free agent in 2024. So not that long ago, he signed a 4-year, $50 million deal 2 years ago, and he was due $8 million this season. So they're going to have to go out and get Cam Ward a new center. Now, if you want to know why he's being cut, I mean, this isn't the only reason, but I'm assuming they're in the neighborhood. Here's PFF's rankings for centers only. You can see Creed Humphrey in his grade #1. Then Tyler Linderbaum is #4. And sometimes when grades are close, that's why PFF isn't the end-all be-all. But they're going to be in the general facility. And where they have Lloyd Cushenberry is all the way down at number 34. He did not have the best season last year. So I'm assuming his production isn't meeting his value that they paid him with that 4-year deal. So thus he is on the market. Doesn't look like a great backup plan if the Ravens lose Tyler Linderbaum. I think there's some others, but it is still another center on the market.
In other news, you can file this under, well, no shiz. Jordan Schultz noted that have heard from several teams he has at the combine who are very high on Isaiah Likely and what he could do as a tight end one for their team. Still just 25 years old and has never played more than 60% of the snaps in a season. He seems poised for a nice payday and a bigger role, and that's exactly what he wants. He voiced that, Sarah, a couple weeks ago on John Gruden's podcast in San Francisco. And look, time will tell whether or not these TE2s or tight end Bs, whatever you want to call them, 1A, 1B, will rise to the occasion. We don't know what he'll look like within the confines of an offense where he is the #1 guy, which will attract #1 types of defensive strategy. But what we do know is there's a ton of untapped potential. There's big playability, and there's someone that is why he was drafted. He's a wide receiver in a tight end's body. So you and I are both of the belief that it's when, not if, that he gets a big opportunity and a big payday. We'll see when or if that continues to come to fruition for him in the coming weeks.
Meanwhile, this is probably good to talk about since we were just talking about Eric Hill, who always is putting out messages of positivity, stop the 22, the veterans who take their own lives. He's always reached, what's that?
Per day.
Per day. Per day. It's crazy. Anyway, we shared a tweet a while back from Marquise Hollywood Brown with after the Randall Moore, right? Yeah, what happened there? So he was on. I'll look up the new podcast. Cordell and Michael Pierce and a few others started a new podcast. Oh, I actually have it. Is it here on the screen? Let me see if I can make this bigger. It's cut off. Okay, I'll look it up just so we can get the name of it. This is a brand new podcast, but they had Hollywood Brown, and he gave a message about mental health.
Health is real. I feel like you need to spread more love, spread more, pray together. Ultimately realize like we all fall under the guidelines and the principles of Jesus Christ. And once we spread more of that, things will be a lot better. But it starts with just affect one person, and affect your family, listen to your family, hear people out.
Yeah, so it's so true. Like oftentimes we want to do like grand, big, huge gestures that impact, a ton of people at once. But sometimes it's just about affecting those that are near to you and making a difference in a family member's life or a friend's life or somebody in the chat, anything like that. So good message from Hollywood there.
He's been full of good messages this offseason. Had a great conversation with him just a few weeks ago, early this month in San Fran, and know that he is absolutely going through it right now, having shared a couple messages from back in the summer of his texting exchange with Rondell Moore, who was struggling at the time. And obviously there's some, there's credible reports out there that he just took his own life last week. So, and they spent time together in Arizona. So there's a rapport and a relationship there in the same wide receiver room that they used to be in as Cardinals.
And just to follow up so we can give credit, the new podcast is called Black Wing Playbook.
Nice.
So Cordell Woodland, Michael Pierce, and Coach, I need my glasses. Coach War are the three guys that have that podcast, and Hollywood was a guest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, Sean Payton and Eric is back with us. Great to see his name in the live chat with Super Chats. We got a green light, so that'll be good to share. But Sean Payton was asked about Declan Doyle. Sarah gave him his first NFL opportunity in New Orleans, and then when he left for Denver, he brought him to the Broncos to serve as tight ends coach. Here's his exchange with reporters at the podium here in Indy yesterday.
I remember Declan coming in from Iowa, Joe Brady coming in. These guys who cover us in Denver, each year we talk about guys getting these opportunities, and it's a good problem. You want to see them have success. Declan was extremely detailed. So he was a quality control coach for us. I remember just taking all the steps. It's hard to get to this position. There's a journey everyone has, and so there's no shortcuts. But he took the journey the right way. Then when I got hired 3 years ago, I had a job here as tight ends coach. I know he interviewed for that position at New Orleans, but so we were fortunate to get him here. And then, man, in the blink of an eye, we lost him. And now Chicago lost him, and it's Baltimore's benefit. He's a tremendous football coach. He's bright. Again, I was saying earlier, it's never on your time clock. The time clock for these young coaches that are good is quicker than you might think. And so I'm excited for him because absolutely. And that'll be quicker than Baltimore wants.
Little muffled there at the end. The follow-up was, do you see him becoming a future head coach in the NFL? And it was absolutely a lot quicker than Baltimore wants. So we'll see if he continues to be on the fast track, but that's a guy that gave him his first start, Sarah, and has a ton of respect for him. And Declan learned a lot at both stops, both in New Orleans and in Denver, and then that granted him an opportunity with Ben Johnson in Chicago, where he spent just one season. So who knows? Will he be in and out in the next 2 years? Remains to be seen. But if they get to the mountaintop, you better believe they absolutely he'll be on to the next thing, and that'll be a head coaching gig.
Yeah, and Sean Payton turned over play calling duties, shockingly, because he usually calls the plays. He turned it over to Davis Webb, and I was noticing it kind of got a little traction on Twitter yesterday. Jason La Canfora, who just recently left 105.7 The Fan, what's that?
Axed from 105.7.
Yeah, he was
much like I was
fired.
a few years ago.
I was trying to give grace, but yeah.
He and I are in that club now together.
Yeah, you both have been fired
Now, the
by
good news is,
105.
though, I think he's had a few more than I have. If we're playing the comparison game, I've only had one, at least so far. You could fire me. Who knows?
No, what were you just saying off the show yesterday? Like how it just, we're going to go next season will be our 5th season together. And it's like, you're just a great person to work with. Like, why would
Likewise.
why
Luckily,
would
the
we fire
structure
each
doesn't work
other?
that way either, you know? I was going to say.
So anyway, just
You were
like
saying,
before who
sorry.
was fired, I guess, like Bobby by 105.7 The Fan. Tweeted yesterday, which a lot of people, so he goes, he says, I spoke for weeks on the radio show that I created and drove, that Sean Payton was turning over play calling to Davis Webb, something he'd never done before, not even for the mighty Declan Doyle. Just like I said since November that Minter was absolutely the next head coach, more truth to come. He also quote retweeted Garrett Downing's interview with Jesse Minter, and he says straight propaganda. And it's like, what do you think is coming from the team website? Of course, it's always going to be friendly and good. But anyway, it's just, I don't understand. Like, he's already taken shots at Declan Doyle. Like, why not just say congrats to Davis Webb? And by the way, Declan Doyle was the tight ends coach when he was working for Sean Payton. Like, you're not going to be calling plays as the tight ends coach. He was still coming up. So I didn't understand that tweet very much.
I think he's got an axe to grind. I think there's some bitterness there, unfortunately. So, and some of that's well documented between he and Eric Costa. Well documented.
Some bitterness.
Yeah. So that's ugly. That is very ugly.
This was so funny though, Bobby. Did you see this? Todd Monken was on with Mike Florio and Chris Sims, and everybody's noticing this baby blue Jordan hoodie that he has on. Like, right, he did his whole combine pressure with it on. And so the guys talk about it. Listen to the story behind the baby blue. Have you seen this yet?
No.
This is so funny.
Just to address the elephant in the room. All right. I mean, Jordan gear here, just looking cool and casual.
Actually, there's a story behind it.
Okay.
So I had like $500 worth of Nike gear from the Ravens.
Right.
And before they fired me, I thought I'd spend the money. So I found this outfit in there and I bought it. It's a true story.
I
They were
love
going to
it.
shut my account down. I said,
Yeah.
I better use the money.
Got to get that allotment out of the
100%.
way. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Stop it right now. I hadn't
Before
heard that yet.
they got his account down, he's like, I got to spend my $500 from Nike before they shut my account down. Now, see, he's been fired too. He's like, before they fired me, I had to get it done. Everybody's getting fired around here.
I think it's hard to like a human as much as I like that human being. He
That
is just
so funny.
everything he does is just unbothered. He is an open book, and the fact that he's down to just talk about that on a national interview is quintessential Todd Monken. I ran into Zach Jackson, who writes for The Athletic. We've had him on the program before
Yeah.
from a Browns coverage standpoint.
Yeah.
And the first thing he said to me was, I am so excited for Todd Monken quotes. I'm like, you should be. It's going to be like, if nothing else, I don't know if it's going to translate to wins in Cleveland, given what's happening there, but like, it's going to be entertaining. I know that.
It's going to be, because they got to go through it every year anyway. Might as well have some entertaining quotes from your head coach along the way.
Goodness gracious.
And by the way, I feel like he handles like tough questions too.
Yeah,
I
he does.
think he handles them pretty well. So
He looks inward. He's accountable. He's the man.
yeah. This was kind of funny. Kyle Van Noy was on a podcast, not just football, and they're asked like, what was going through your head when the field goal was missed, and he seemed to just be like, okay, we're doing this. Shoot, where did the video go? I thought I had the video. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Right here.
Hell were you thinking when he kicked that ball and it didn't go through? I was like, ain't no way. I was like, the devil magic's real. Honestly, I was selfishly thinking about myself. Am I done? Is that how I'm going to go out? Just all those thoughts right after. And then all I could think about was, damn, Cam and Mike. Lucky ass. I was upset at the point where I felt like we should have ran the ball for more yards. When I watched you guys were pissed. You were like, damn, like we just let a crazy pass go. Like you guys were shell shocked. I was like, run the ball. They're pissed off. Like I never want to say somebody quit.
We had the bad body language.
Yes, real bad body language. 100%.
I left. I didn't even see us miss the kick. I was already at the elevator leaving.
You left?
Yeah, I was at the elevator. Ding, ding, ding. That motherfucker was going down. I was at the elevator leaving.
He was hot.
I heard the crowd. I'm like, they got that many damn fans here? But them was our fans.
Obviously on with a bunch of Pittsburgh guys.
Joey Porter.
But he was with you, Bobby. Did you hear that? He wanted the Ravens to run the ball a little bit more and try to get a few extra yards. I torched you for that opinion.
You did. We had a big argument about that.
We got in a big argument.
Yep. Joey Porter, by the way, that was far from the biggest snippet to come out from some of his Radio Row stuff. Did you see what Joey Porter said about Ben Roethlisberger?
I did.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, that was some. That went nuclear.
You're just a bad teammate. You're just a bad teammate.
Yeah,
Joey
was willing to talk that one up, but Kyle's been making his rounds, as has the Super Bowl champion, Mike McDonald. Podium availability. He talked a little bit about just what life has been like, happening fast, he says. There's not as much time to celebrate. He said he still hasn't had time to rewatch the Super Bowl. That's crazy to think.
Yeah.
That's from Jeff. Garrett's here as well. He says that in terms of his friendship with Jesse, he's spoken about this in recent weeks on various other platforms. And he was asked earlier this week, quote, I expect Jesse to do great things. We bounce football ideas off each other every once in a while. He's given me more tips than I've probably given him. So all class there from Mike Mack, who's enjoying the process, which, again, I mean, heck, what process is it when is there really like ever a concrete process when you win a Super Bowl? I mean, it all just happens so fast. And then, like he said, you haven't even had a chance to rewatch the freaking game because he's already into 2026 mode.
One final last quick hit. This was Jesse Minter on the Pat McAfee show. And he's given an opportunity to win $100,000 to be donated to a charity by throwing a ball and hitting a target, which apparently Pat missed, and I guess Jim Harbaugh missed. Then the lefty stands up. The lefty gets up there, and Jesse Minter, let's see what he does.
$100,000 donation if you're able to put that football into that hole right over there. It has not been conquerable on the first attempt yet. Okay? Myself missed it. Jim Harbaugh missed it. We think you are going to make it. If you're able to put it on the first one, $100,000 donation to a charity of your choosing. Jesse Minter, the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. $100,000, Jesse.
Oh, man. Never a doubt.
Nailed.
Steve Young.
We're at the combine. I mean,
all right, Jesse.
Nothing but net.
Thank you, dude.
Never a doubt, man.
That was unbelievable. There was no climax.
No climax.
No,
Just all ball.
Just the easiest.
All ball.
You made that look so simple. That's Baltimore Ravens head coach Jesse Minter.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
He's just like, what? That's just what I do. Just nothing but net.
He just wound up and so smoothly. I mean, it was not even it was the equivalent in hoops of nothing but net.
Yeah. And he just shrugs afterwards. He's like, meh.
And if that speaks to his under calm and cool poised personality when coaching and defensive play calling and clock management, then maybe that bodes well for the Ravens.
I'm trying to envision Jesse Minter yelling like all coaches yell, right? They all yell.
Certainly can't imagine it with him.
I look forward to the first time I see him yelling just to see what it's like.
Just want to see first time that he's ticked.
I don't want to be the guy that makes him yell because he does
Right?
seem pretty calm and chill.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're going to do to make him yell, but what
No
is that
kidding.
going to look like?
No kidding. I know. It's a great point. Dozy Dope writes, for those in the chat downplaying Declan Doyle's coaching record, John Madden, Bill Belichick, Bill Walsh, and Don Shula were all tight ends coaches before becoming Hall of Famers. Dozy Dope going deep into the historical books. I like that.
Yeah.
King Sosa for you.
Hey, Flock, Bobby, Sarah, Eric Hill, y'all are loved and appreciated by all of us. Boots to the ground, keep moving forward. Let's go Vault. We appreciate that, King.
Yeah, King's got that energy that I think we were expecting off the top of the program, all because of this guy right here who writes, it's a green light to share what's up with his life right now. Minus one detail, though. So
Which
we'll
detail?
wait.
Yeah,
we'll
I don't
wait.
know which detail, Eric.
We will connect with him before we kind of share, maybe on a quick hits tomorrow, moving forward, maybe in the next week, before we kind of open the floodgates, let everybody know what it is that Eric's dealing with in his life right now that might motivate our audience to help out. We'll wait and see and get that one detail fleshed out.
Yeah.
Bearded Bites and Breakdowns, celebrating 7 months of channel memberships and channel membership, writes, been here since day one. Bobby, Sarah, you guys are great. I love this podcast. I love this group of fans. Never change, and God bless. It's the energy.
Love it.
That's the energy, Sarah.
Just good vibes today. You know what? It's been good vibes since the moment we started today.
Yeah.
From the moment. And then
I agree.
the
And Emery
super
brings a
chats
level
with
of it too.
Emery, yeah,
You know?
the Hawaii Islands comment.
he brings it, and he exudes it, no doubt. King Poppy celebrating 3 months of channel membership for you.
Says, I have a question. Could you see the Ravens trading the 14th pick for a veteran linebacker?
Oh.
No.
Why would they do that?
Are you talking about an outside linebacker like Max Crosby?
Why would
An
they?
inside linebacker? No.
Poppy, clarify, will you?
Yeah, and by the way, this
one.
isn't like the 27th pick or the 31st pick. Like 14 is infinitely more valuable than where the Ravens are usually at.
Yeah. KP writes, not worried about choking with that money throw from Minter. Money throw Minter.
Yeah.
Which we just had up there.
Money Minter. Ooh,
Certainly
I like
was,
that.
right?
I like
Certainly
that
was.
Minter mastermind we had up on the graphic earlier.
Yeah.
Minter mastermind, Minter's coming, money Minter. We could just
Yeah.
go all day.
I was going to say, how about it? Okay, why don't we do this? If everybody could go and follow Emery Hunt on X, I think we'd appreciate it because he continues to be so generous with his time. So it's at FBall Game Plan. At FBall Game Plan. I'm going to go ahead and grab that link and throw it into the live chat. If you guys could just tweet at him if you got something out of his conversation, we'd appreciate that. He gave us 30-plus minutes, Sarah, of just good banter, great analysis, and all of which was from a Ravens perspective. And if you want to go check out that 2026 draft guide and throw in a pre-order while you're at it, I'll drop that into the link as well. A couple more
How
super
about when
chats.
Emery also said that the Ravens were playing 10 on 11 on offense and didn't want to name Daniel Falele?
Yeah, that was that ultimate realization that we weren't crazy, right? Other people were seeing what we were seeing. Yeah.
And that's the first time I've honestly heard somebody say that, like, it's not the tackles that are most important. It's guard, center, guard.
Guard, center, guard. No, it's not. And that was, well, are you asking is the first?
No, I'm saying it was the first for me because
Oh, okay.
tackle, he says it's propaganda. Maybe I bought other propaganda. I just usually follow the money.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else has talked about that. Why do I feel like Jeremiah?
Overall, obviously the offensive line is, you have it's like quarterback, offensive line, or just trenches, and then somebody who can get after the quarterback. But quarterback, offensive line, somebody getting after the quarterback, you're going to have a pretty good football team.
I like the way Emery views the game, views prospects,
Yeah.
You know, Emery's one of those guys that goes nationwide to a lot of the showcases or games that are not garnering attention. The lights aren't bright at, and you find diamonds in the rough. And that's why when you're out in front of predictions like Keaton Mitchell and Ardarius Washington, that's why you can feel like you have ground to stand on with those types of players, because he's done the work. He's been there. He's gone to places that aren't coveted, that aren't the sexy type of college football atmosphere, and got a lot of respect for him because of that. King Poppy is clarifying that, yes, he means for Max Crosby. The only issue, though, Pop, is that it's going to take a lot more than just the 14th to get Max to Baltimore.
If it was just number 14, I'd say heck yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Sign him up. And Randy Brown is out on Lucas Oil Stadium right now. I see in the distance here. He was doing some sort of special teams work on NFL Network earlier today. He's the longtime Ravens special teams consultant. Trey is with us, Mr. Columbus, for you.
He says, "Hey Kyle," or "Hey, Kyle did make a lot of sense. Rookie kicker." Hey,
Kyle Van Noy.
Oh, Kyle Van Noy did make a lot of sense. Rookie kicker. He's never attempted a game winner. Well, he did in college for sure. Does that include college? Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look at his Arizona tape. I don't know.
I'd be shocked if he never had to do a game-winning kick in college.
Point is, this we won't relive this. We know where I stand. We know where you stand. I didn't realize.
That's what I was
where
gonna say.
Kyle's
Don't get
stand.
Randy Brown on the show. He won't like me.
I didn't realize
He's
where
got
Kyle
work to
stands,
do.
to be honest, until now. So now you're gonna make me want to go get Randy Brown. I'm gonna track him down tonight.
Well, we know. Well, like he's gonna go hard for his boy as he should. He's his coach, and he should build him up. He's got work to do to make sure that does not stick in his mind. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah,
but you gotta overcome it for sure.
Appreciate you,
And
Trey.
I honestly think Tyler Loop. This is a question for him if you do run into him.
Yeah.
Like, how much did Tyler Loop being here make Randy Brown want to stay in Baltimore and not follow John?
I think that's the question. That's the
Mm-hmm.
question. And I should have asked Anthony Levine that last night just from his perspective. But we were talking about other things. All right.
Yes.
Partner, let's shut it down.
Let's shut
Shall
down
we?
a great show. Let's shut
Awesome.
down a great show.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Tomorrow, you and I will randomly give away our $100 gift card to the merch line, the Vaults merch line. We look forward to that. And we look forward to Friday programming across the board. And another day rolls on here from Indianapolis at the 2026 NFL Scouting Combine. So for Sarah, for our wonderful guest, Emory Hunt, it is his time of year. He is the draft extraordinaire himself, who's always so kind with his time. I'm Bobby Trossett, signing off from this Thursday Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. If you could on the way out, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership this offseason. And on the way out, Trey just corrects himself, writing, sorry, phone auto corrects, but love you guys. The feeling's mutual, Trey. Thanks to all of you, and we'll catch up with you on Friday here inside the Vault.